Shedeur, you mentioned that.
This is one of, if not the first time that you've been in the back of the line for reps. So how are you managing that part of the challenge?
I'm managing it real well. Yeah. Overall, it's a mentality. It's mental. It's a lot of people in certain situations in their own life, that may not be at the forefront, that maybe had that at one point in time, but you got to know it's going to be bright days eventually whenever the time comes. So you just always got to be prepared, and you got to mentally take it as just an experience, and anything in life, you got to go through different things so you can understand the message that, God's trying to give you. So that's why everything I'm way more grateful for, just to come out here, to be able to throw the ball around and just be able to get on the field. Like, everything off the field, it is what it is, but everybody know when it's time to get on that grass, then you know who I am.
Shedeur, when you just mentioned
what your goal is for this first off-season workout program and your first training camp. There's obviously a lot of talk about, like, well, can you be the starter as a fifth-round pick? Like, will you make the team? Like, what is your goal when we get to, September and the games are really getting played in the Los Angeles?
My goal is to be the best teammate and to be as polished as I can be. So in every aspect, I view things as I got time. I got time to be able to grow and mature, and be able to understand the ins and outs of the defenses and be able to get the good insight from the vets in the room. So I look at it as, a plus. Like, I got time to actually be able to really have a great understanding. And whenever, it's time for me to play, then it's time for me to play. But I'm not looking too far in the future about all that. I'm looking about every day in practice, because I had some misses out there today that, we got to go in there and correct, about Reeves getting in and out drops a little bit faster from under center. So that's the main thing. I'm focused on the small things, and over time, the big things will happen.
So I kind of wanted to show those clips to show Shedeur's optimistic outlook on his growth and development in the Cleveland Browns organization. Definitely looked like a person prepared to answer those questions to me. Now, Shedeur's the only quarterback in that QB room that hasn't gotten first-team reps in either OTAs or the first, few days of minicamp. And so people are talking about that, like, look at his stats, look at how well he's played in minicamp, in OTAs. Why is he not getting any reps with the first team? And so, people are going to be talking about that, especially with him performing the way that he's been performing. Also, I wanted to show that because Shedeur answered all his questions appropriately. I can learn, I can grow from what the vets bring to the table. They can bring me up under their wing, basically, and I can watch. I got things to still correct, not talking from this high position like he's already arrived, which is very astute of him to be able to read the room and to also deliver the answers that that is good for him being a young professional. But we're going to get into LaVar Arrington, what he had to say about Cleveland, and he sent a warning to them about how to handle Shedeur. Let's check that out.
Cleveland is in a bad spot. If Shedeur Sanders isn't at worst the backup, they are going to fry the media because of what they feel coming out of the draft and how they covered it and how they've been shamed and made to feel like y'all took advantage of Shedeur Sanders. Y'all drove a whole entire draft off of Shedeur Sanders, and they're right. Whoever's saying it, you're right. If Shedeur Sanders at worst isn't the backup on this team, there's going to be hell to pay through the media. At best, if I am the head coach, the GM, and the owner of this team, I'm naming Shedeur Sanders my starter today. Today. You know why? Joe Flacco, love you to death. You gave us a good little run. You're a Raven. Kick rocks. Kenny Pickett, you ain't showing us that you that good at all. You here for an insurance policy. Kick rocks. Dylan Gabriel, we took you with the third round pick We feel really good about what you could possibly be, but do we ever see you as a starter? I don't know. It's a strong possibility that you're not a starter for our franchise. It's a very strong possibility, but my goodness, you probably can be a really, really good backup for us at some point in time. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, if you're looking at the coverage of Shedeur Sanders and the way all of this is kind of being properly placed on the table, you about to get served if you don't see this coming. Just name him the starter today. Name him the starter and let him do what he's going to do. For good, for bad, or worse, whatever it is, allow for him to do it because you drafted him. You drafted him. And it makes you start to think, did he drop in the draft because of his talent, or did he drop in the draft because of his fame? That's the conclusion I've been coming to lately. It's his fame and it's his influence. You do not want, when you heard Stephen A. call that man comparable to Colin Kaepernick, you have now made this a racial, cultural comparison in terms of why this man isn't being respected as a talent.
Now, LaVar Arrington does make some compelling points. With him landing in Cleveland. Now, if the Washington Commanders or the Houston Texans, someone like that would have taken Shedeur Sanders, we would not be expecting him to have an opportunity to start. But Cleveland, being in the situation that they're in, knowing that they need a quarterback of the future, they draft two guys very similar to kind of how you saw the Washington Commanders back when they were the Redskins take RG3D and Kirk Cousins in a later round. They drafted two guys to see who kind of wins out on that position. Dylan Gabriel's getting those first team reps. You see Shedeur fourth on the depth chart. That's not going to fly. If Cleveland, the thing is, they don't have that player at QB to justify Shedeur not starting. Like Flacco, if he comes into the season as the starter, nobody's really going to say too much if Joe Flacco starts week 1. But, if Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett is starting, I think, they might not say as much if Kenny Pickett starts the first week, but if Dylan Gabriel, with what we're seeing in these workouts, and we still have a training camp to go, but, if they elect to go with Dylan Gabriel and he doesn't produce instant phenomenal results for the team, which would be a little unfair to him, I think you're going to hear the noise. And, the organization has taken Shedeur knowing his fame, his popularity, and his influence. And so you're going to even have people who don't watch the game of football, don't even understand the game of football, but are Shedeur fans. They're going to be loud, and you'll see them on social media. You'll see them everywhere. The presence of those people will be all over the internet. And not only that, when you're playing home games and you're down by 4 touchdowns and Shedeur hasn't touched that field, we want Shedeur is all you're going to hear throughout the stadium, okay? So I know that you have to be cognizant of that. You have to know somewhat that dynamic exists. I don't think there's no way they can be oblivious to that. But, for you to go ahead and take Dylan Gabriel, why take Shedeur in the 5th round? If you don't feel like he can be that guy at the QB position. Because obviously, as a team, you knew his talent was way better than 5th round. Even if you didn't believe he was a 1st rounder, you knew he wasn't a 5th rounder. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew Shedeur. And I'm going to be honest with you. For everything the Steelers has done, to accommodate a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I would say Shedeur Sanders should have been taken. Even if, say, okay, you still bring in Aaron Rodgers. You still could have got Shedeur. You still could have went on and grabbed him. You don't, but whatever. We'll see how that turns out for them. But you know, Shedeur being with the Browns, hadn't got any first team reps. I like how he's staying positive, control what you can control. That seems to be his motto in this process of becoming QB1 on the depth chart, and I absolutely love it. One thing for sure, two things for certain. No one's going to be able to say that Shedeur was given this opportunity by his dad. And I think that's the beauty in all of this. He's going to have to get it out the mud. And he seems perfectly fine, you know, trying to do that. So shout out to Shedeur. We're going to see how this thing plays out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.